Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you a masculine card. I made this card for the Stampin' Dreams blog hop. It had a male theme, any occasion, and so I went with our new cinnamon cider colour and chose what I thought was quite sort of masculine themes. So I've used the Very Versailles, and I've used that sentiment there, and I've also used this script, plus I dug out the Rooted in Nature, and I'm using the two skeleton leaves and the matching dies to cut them out, and I've used this stitched die here from the Ornate layers, and that cuts out that quite nicely. So, and this background is embossed with, oh, I haven't got it out. There was me thinking I was being so efficient, and I missed off this one. So this is the sort of, I can't remember what it's called now. It's from the World of Good, and it sort of makes it look like old paper, which I absolutely love that effect. So I'm going to make this again, but I'm going to step it up. I'm going to add a cinnamon cider sort of layer to see if I can make it pop a bit more. So I've got thick, very vanilla, cut in half, scored in half. I've got a mat of cinnamon cider, my usual mat size, and I have gutted it as I often do, so that there's no waste and I can use that for something else. And then there's my normal second mat size to go on top, and that's where all those stamping will go. And I've got a bit of very vanilla to do the stamping on, so let's do the stamping first. So I've got them all ready mounted, ready to stamp on, and I love that. I think it gives a really nice vintage look, and I do like my vintage, so I have been having fun using this to make sort of ephemera and stuff for a junk journal. So I'm going to put that on the side there. Lovely. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment. So that's going to go across there. I'm hoping I will get all this out of this one sheet. Do love that sentiment. I have somebody particular in mind that I'm going to send this to, and it is a man. Now I did this, so I did 2 stamped on and 2 stamped off, so I'm gonna do those like that to give us difference in colour, because no 2 leaves are the same. I'm actually not got enough, have I? So I need another bit of Very Vanilla to get these. There we go. So that is all of that. I'll put them on my chamois. And I'm not sure. I was thinking I might stamp that off and have it a bit lighter. Let's do it on the back and see what it looks like. A little bit lighter. Not really sure. I might decide afterwards which one I think looks better when I'm assembling it. Okay, so get those out of the way. I can't remember now if I scrubbed the others. Okay, so now we need to do some die cutting and some embossing. So I'm going to run this through that embossing folder, and then I need the dies to cut these out. So this rectangle, we'll cut that out, and then we need our leaf ones. So we've got our little leaf and our big leaf. And I'm just wondering for this one whether or not I might cut some embossed ones as well, just to change it up a bit. So I'll get all that done and come back to you. So that's them all die cut out. So I've got all my leaves, and I die cut my sentiment, and then I cut a little mat. So all this is from that gutting, that centre bit. So this is cut 1 inch by 4 inches, and it's just enough to mat around and give a really tiny mat around there, just to make it pop a little bit better. And so I just put those out of the way, and this one has been embossed, and I just wanted to show you that that's the side with the Stampin' Up looking up to you, looks like that, and then the other side is sort of raised, and I prefer this side for looking like old paper as opposed to that side. I'm going to rip this, and then I emboss this as well to really make it look like ripped paper. And I guess really now I need to decide whether or not I want the lighter or the darker. I think I'm going for the lighter actually. So I'm going to take my aqua painter, and if I wet around this a bit, it gives us a little bit more control with our ripping, because it sort of weakens the fibres a little bit. For ripping around. So, and depending on whether I'm going to whip with the top coming towards me and bottom going back, because you get a little bit more of the core showing, which is what we want to give ourselves an area to ink up. Gives us more, because the ink will take in the core. I'm just going to rip that off to make this a little bit easier to do. Love ripping. This is why I like doing junk journals and vintage stuff, because it's quite liberating to not measure and just rip and stick. Okay, doesn't matter, we take a bit of the words off, and there we go, a nice little bit of random ripping. So we need to do a little bit of blending. I'm going to bring in my scrap paper, and we're going to emboss that again actually. So I'm using my sort of blender makeup brushes. Make sure the previous colour's off, and where's my ink pad gone? You can't see the ink pad. It's there, it's right in front of my eyes. So get some on that, and then I'll just go over, and it just picks up the raised bits of that embossing, which is grand. And so I'm going to emboss this so that I can ink that as well. So I've run that through, and what I did was I put it in the wrong way round. So that's the side I want, and I wanted the embossing to sort of stick up. I didn't do it on this one. I kind of didn't realise. So this one, it's the going in, and this one is the popping out. I never know whether which is deboss and which is emboss. So there we go. And then I'm just going to run this over as well to pick up some of those. I quite often, when I'm trying to make a document look old and vintage, is that I will actually crease it and sort of ink the edges, and this is effectively what we're doing here with the sticky up bits. We're getting the edges inked up, and so now I want to go along where I've ripped. So using the sponge dauber to go around those, and you can see we're getting quite a nice thick edge because I ripped it in the right direction to give us the core. If we look on the other side for comparison, where you haven't got that core, you're just getting it right on the edge there. Let me see, can you see? So you're just getting it right on the edge there, whereas on this side you're getting a little bit more because you're managing to colour the core of it. And you can see the difference between having it dark and having it light. Do prefer that. Good decision, Jez. Good decision. Right, so let's start putting the card together. So we're going to stick these onto our card. So I sort of stuck this to the side. Now it's going over it a little bit now because I cut this down, but that's okay. I'm not bothered about that. And this is our sentiment, and then I just sort of layered leaves around. So we've got, we can put those on that side, and then we've got these little ones that we can put layered on the other. Ooh, a little moth. Oh, I can't stand them. You've been hiding somewhere and just decided to come out. Thank you for that. I've gone all cold. Can you see? I've got goosebumps. Ugh. Don't like them at all. Now let me just check, as they're coming off a little bit, whether or not they will still be within the card frame. Yes, they will. I think that might look quite nice, them coming off. So that is how that lot's going to get stuck down. So let's get my glue so I can stick these down in place because I can see where they're going. So what I do when I'm doing this myself is I take a photo on my phone, and then I have it next to me so I can see if I had to sort of take them all off. I can see where they kind of went. I'm going to stick that one under there. And I'll put that one up. top. Great. And then that will go over like that. I'm going to pop these up on dimensionals, so I'm just going to stick this here. So this is a bit like a now to wow card. I do quite like designing a fairly simple card and then sort of stepping it up. Go. Right, so now I'm going to bring in this. So I'm going to just take my bone folder and go around the edges, because I did turn this a bit as I cut it. So I've got some cut edge showing and some not. So we bevel them down and then it's all okay. So it looks better that way. So just go around the edges. When I gut like this, I do like to stick this down before I put the layer on. So as I say, we'll have the measurements. They're my usual measurements. Just cut each mat 1/4 of an inch shorter and thinner, and then you get an 1/8 of an inch border, which I really like. There we go. And we'll stick this on. That's actually sticking a bit further over than I had wanted. Need to watch that. Can I pull it up? No, I can't. Leave it there. It's going over. I just have to make a slightly bigger envelope for it, but that's okay. And then a few dimensionals. Oh, dropped a packet of dimensionals down there. It's okay. It gets caught on the windowsill, so it don't go any further. Thank goodness. So put 3 along here. There we go. Put that straight so I can see where it needs to go. There we are. And that's that one. And that's that one. So you can see the difference with the cardstock on that, sort of making it pop. I say that's sticking out a bit, but I'll just put this in a longer envelope. So hope you like that. All the details will be over on my blog, nigezza.co.uk, and I'll link to the original. I was just pulling that out. Did I want some dots on there, but I decided against it. I think they're too small. It needs something bigger, but I could make my own. Have I got that colour made? No. So I might add those later. So yes, I'll link to the original Bog Hop as well, so you can see what other mail cards people have made. They always seem to be something that people struggle with, so I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody else has come up with as well. So bye for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share, and check out my playlist for other things that I've made. Okay, bye for now.